My name's Higgy Vasquez, but I'm also an Emigdio. So my birth name is Emigdio Vasquez Jr., but I'm known as Higgy, a name that my mother gave me. So what I'm doing here today is I will be repainting these crate labels that my dad painted back in 1994. So I was 11 years old when he actually let me work on a mural. I started painting actually when I was 7. And so I would go and be my dad's helper as a as a little boy. And I learned how he mixed colors. I learned something about how the material, what kind of material he used. He used an acrylic. And I learned something about mixing the color. I learned about what brushes to use. So I did that at an early age. And then later in life, when I was a teenager, he actually would pay me to help work with him on some of these jobs. So that was a step up for me. It was actually getting paid for it. My dad wasn't much of a teacher. He pretty much would let you know when you were doing it wrong. He was kind of a hard teacher in that sense. But I got really good at painting, and I helped him on a lot of his most recognized work, like the Cesar Chavez mural at Santa Ana College. I worked quite a bit on that one. But he would always, I was always humbled by his work, especially when I would finish a piece or think that it was finished. And he would come along and touch it, put like a highlight on the nose or just a couple of dabs. And it was very humbling. I've actually learned later that my dad really wasn't so much a perfectionist. And I learned that through his portrait work. Because a lot of the figures that he would paint wouldn't necessarily look exactly like the person. And I later learned that it was because he would use those pictures just as models. So it wasn't important that it looked exactly like that person. I think it's great that the city thought about the crate labels as a mural because of the area. Orange and Anaheim, Placencia, well-documented history of oranges, and even my family picked oranges in Orange County. So I think it's great that they preserve these for the future. Also the significance of it being painted originally by Emigdio, because he painted so many murals here in Anaheim. Well, some of his I think his most important works are here in Anaheim. And the idea that I have the opportunity to come back and to repaint them means a lot to me, personally. So right now I'm here at Citrus Park, and I have these 3 murals, these 3 crate labels that need to be repainted. So I'm going to be restoring those and repainting them. This time I'm going to do a little bit more work on the primering, because the materials that we have nowadays discovered that if the area is primered a little bit better and the underpainting and stuff is done, it's a little bit more with more paint and more preparations, that the mural will actually last a little bit longer. I also am going to put some ultraviolet coating on that they have nowadays. That's a little bit better, and probably a little coat of anti-graffiti, just so that the mural would last longer. So these 3 murals that Emigdio painted in 1994 are crate labels that are archived actually here in Anaheim. One of them is the Colonial Mother, the other one is Pride of Anaheim, and the other one is Blue Vase. And so I'll be repainting those, and hopefully will be completed in this year in 2017. I think my dad would be pretty pleased that I was restoring these. Of course, if he was alive, he would want to be painting it. He'd be pushing me out of the way. But because he's not here, and I did apprentice with him, I mean, it really is as an honor to come back here just to honor him and do these really well and copy what he had already painted. He documented his murals so well, and he always took slides, so I just blew up the slides in full color, and my goal is to copy them almost exactly how they were. There's one mural that really that stands out here, and of course it is the old Emigdio market, located across the street from Little People's Park on Lemon. And that one is probably one of my dad's finest murals. He painted it in 1979, and he actually painted it in 2 parts. But it's in pretty bad condition. It was originally painted on brick, and the brick has decayed, and it's decayed pretty bad. So really, I'm hoping that at some point in time, I can get some people who are interested in helping me fund this project, because I would really like to restore that mural. The only thing that I know about the mural that was painted inside City Hall is that it was one of his first projects. I think actually he had one of his first murals, that work programs he did with them was Emigdio Market. And then they commissioned him to do that piece, which was a panel. It was painted on panels that were put together. And I know there were panels because you could still see the seam, probably masonite. But I know that he really enjoyed going to the library and looking up all this history on Anaheim. And basically it's sort of the history of Anaheim. It's very chronological. It's the early settlers here in this town. And I'm really excited about trying to restore my dad's work and trying to keep his legacy alive, and sharing his work and sharing my experiences that I had with him.